Alrighty, good morning. I'm going to record these 3 homework problems and hopefully this works. It's been a while since I've done this, but I figure I'll record it so it's there for you to access whenever you have time today. Number 10, y equals 1 over x squared, and you're evaluating that at -1, 1. That means f of -1 is equal to 1, and we have to find f of -1 plus h. So I substitute that in, and there really isn't much more to the substitution. You just put in -1 plus h squared. So I'm just going to put that in the limit. The limit as h approaches 0 of 1 over -1 plus h squared minus 1, because that's my value at -1, all over h. So we're going to find the LCD. The LCD is going to be, let me see if I can find my, oh, there it is. Going to be this guy. Whoa, where is it? It's all normal. It's not working. Okay, anyway, I'm just going to stick with the pencil. Sorry, guys, I'm a little rusty on this. It's going to be that -1 plus h squared. So the LCD is going to be -1 plus h squared. Okay, so I multiply through by that LCD, and that's going to be the -1 plus h squared, -1 plus h squared, -1 plus h squared. Okay? So that reduces down. And let's see if I can yeah, cool. I can still scroll up. All right, so it's the limit as h approaches 0. My first term is 1 minus, and then the second guy is -1 plus h squared all over h times -1 plus h squared. Now I'm going to expand that term there, and I'm still trying to figure out why is it not, it's making me mad. Anyway, I'm going to expand that term. I used to have like a pointer that I can point things out, but apparently they upgraded my software and I don't know what's going on. I'm going to expand this term. Okay, so when I do that, just side bubble over here, when I expand that out, write it twice and square it, I would get 1 minus 2h plus h squared. Okay, so I'm going to put that in, and I have, scrolling up, the limit as h approaches 0 of 1 minus, in parentheses, 1 minus 2h plus h squared. When I distribute the negative, my 1's are going to subtract. Oh, I got to keep my denominator. Don't want to forget that. Okay, so when I distribute the limit as h approaches 0, I have 1 minus 1, and then when I distribute that -1 in here, I'm going to end up with 2h minus h squared all over h times -1 plus h squared. So I can factor out an h in the numerator. It's going to reduce with the h in the denominator, because that would be like h times 2 minus h all over h, -1 plus h squared. Boom, boom. So finally, I'm going to evaluate the limit as h approaches 0 of 2 minus h over -1 plus h squared. I can substitute in 0 for that. My h's are going to go to 0, and I get 2 over -1 squared, which is 2 over 1. So my answer is 2. That is the slope of the tangent line at that point. So if I'm going to write the equation, remember my original point was -1, 1. So this is going to be y minus 1 is equal to 2x plus 1. That's the tangent line. The normal line is y minus 1 is equal to -1/2 x plus 1. All right, number 11, and I figured this out now. I got my little hand guy, this little guy, because I like him, my pointer guy. F of x is equal to radical x plus 3, and I'm evaluating that at 1, 2. So that means that f of 1 is equal to 2, and we need to find f of 1 plus h. So that's going to be radical 1 plus h plus 3. So that's going to be radical 4 plus h. And now we put that in our limit. The limit as h approaches 0 of radical 4 plus h minus 2 all over h. Okay? So with our radicals, we're going to multiply by the conjugate, radical 4 plus h plus 2 over radical 4 plus h plus 2. Simplify that down. When I multiply a radical, I get the radicand, so I get 4 plus h. My inners and outers add to 0, so I have minus 4. And don't mind that noise, that's just my cat, because I'm doing this at home before I come in today, because it's easier. The 4's subtract, and my h's reduce. So now, why won't it scroll this time? Oh, I messed up another setting. I guess I have to fix that too. The limit as h approaches 0 of 1 over radical 4 plus h plus 2. So as h approaches 0, I know I can use this guy again. This guy, that's 0, that's radical 4. It turns into 2. 1 over 2 plus 2, which is 1 over 4. So there's my slope of the tangent line. And my two-line equations, y minus 2 is equal to 1/4 x minus 1. And y minus 2 is equal to negative 4 x minus 1. So that is problem 11. Okie dokie, I think I have all my tech figured out now. So this one, we have radical 1 plus 2x, and I'm evaluating that at 4, 3. So that means f of 4 is equal to 3. So we need to find f of 4 plus h. And that's going to be radical 1 plus 2 times the quantity 4 plus h. Which means that is radical 1 plus 8 plus 2h. Simplify that down. And that's going to be radical 9 plus 2h. And then we do the limit thing. The limit as h approaches 0 of radical 9 plus 2h minus 3 all over h. Once again, we're going to multiply by the conjugate. Radical 9 plus 2h plus 3 over radical 9 plus 2h plus 3. So that ends up being, when I multiply, I get 9 plus 2h. My inners and outers add to 0. Negative 3 times positive 3 is minus 9, all over h times radical 9 plus 2h plus 3. So my 9 subtract. I'm still evaluating the limit as h approaches 0 of 2h over h, radical 9 plus 2h plus 3. My h is reduced down. Boom, boom. I have a 2 in the numerator. And so I'm evaluating the limit as h approaches 0 of 2 over radical 9 plus 2h plus 3. So when I do that, my h is going to go to 0. My 2h is going to go to 0. The square root of 9 is 3. So I'm going to add those two together. And I get 2 over 6. So that reduces down to 1/3. My two equations, my point is 4, 3. So it's going to be y minus 3 is equal to 1/3 x minus 4. And y minus 3 is equal to negative 3 x minus 4. So those are the 3 homework problems that I was requested to do. Today you're going to review for your test. If you have any other questions, you can email me, and your test, I'm still planning to do that on Monday. Have a good Friday, and I will see you on Monday.